Well, hello everyone and welcome to Here's What I Don't Get. From north to south, east to west, the only international podcast to tackle all of life's toughest issues. I am your host, founder of the Take No Shit Dojo, Larry Bleidner, and with me today are special guests, Uncle Buck from the red state of North Carolina, and from the Great White North, Joel Chaco.
That's the best one so far. Hola, mi enchada. Hey, we have got that Larry guy, that Larry show host himself. Larry Bleidner is in the house. Welcome back to Here's What I Don't Get, Larry.
Thank you. It's great to be back here in the arms of those I love. You two mugs. How are you guys?
Oh, it's great, man. It's great to have you back. We took a lot of flack from that first episode only because we were still working out our audio kinks, right?
Well, wait a minute.
No business doing podcasts.
Listen. I forbid you guys to use the term "we" in describing that. That was 100% my fuck up. Delivering substandard audio. Oh, it was. I just brain farted, and so you guys had to basically turn shit into gold. And I don't know how you did it, but a tip of the hat to both of you. So there.
Larry, when your mentor, when your intellectual, I wouldn't say you're when you're getting mentored by somebody on taking no shit, and that guy is there for you, and a grenade falls into your foxhole, and you jump on that grenade, you gotta save the superiors, man. You gotta put those people, in charge, in place, and that's what we did for you right there, man. Is we were jumping on that grenade, making sure that you took no shit at all. And speaking of which, your show, you had just kind of announced that you were doing your podcast.
That's correct.
On our first episode, and here we are. We've kind of taken this path here. We've been able to put out some quality content along the way, and I gotta say, man, your podcast, and this is no word of a lie, I'm not blowing smoke, is by far my favorite podcast that I am listening to today. It is a cannot miss. I never miss it. I actually carve time out of my week to make sure I get my Larry time in. There's no episode that goes unlistened to. I love that Larry show.
It is very good.
Well, you said that perfectly, and the check's in the mail. Thank you.
I told you we get sponsors. No, man.
We're firing the ad guy.
For any of our listeners who have not listened to That Larry Show, what the hell is wrong with you? Get on it. Larry Bleidner's show, That Larry Show. It's a half hour of it's a masterpiece every single week. You do a really great job of picking your topics and telling fantastic. You're a hell of a storyteller, Larry.
Well, thank you very much.
I know you're a writer by trade, but man, oh man, you are a bard. you can tell a tale, man.
Oh, good. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But coming from you guys are hitting it out of the park. I mean, I'm loving what I'm hearing in your show, and coming from you two, that's high praise from a great source. So thank you very much. Really,
oh, man.
Very
At least that's one person. We got one fan.
Well, yeah, it's so since you started that Larry Show,
yes.
How's the reception been? Have you been able to grow that audience? Are you getting new people that maybe weren't familiar with you before that are starting to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak?
Absolutely, it's really it's growing nicely. It's exceeded my expectations, and it's kind of a kick. It really is. So I can't believe I'm now working on episode number 20. Right, so I guess it would actually be 22 or 3 if I included the Patreon bonus episodes. But I'm kind of amazed that it's gotten as far as it has, and I'm having a hell of a lot of fun. It seems like some people are enjoying it, and so it's all good. It really is.
Oh
yeah.
I know I've recommended it to all types of people in my social circles. I mean, I've got I've got some uncles that are old car guys, and I know that there's your music selection would fit for them as well, and also too, we were talking about this a little bit before we went to air here, but I gotta admit, man, I love the vernacular of the show, and in particular the word pointy. For those who aren't familiar with Larry's show, Larry likes to refer to attractive women in a certain way. He likes to call them pointy chicks that are pointy.
It's not just attractive though; it's chicks who are pointy.
Pointy, yeah, exactly.
Yes, I mean they're
you're right. To be
babes.
Clear, right? But I mean, there are many phases of beauty, right? Many styles. But the pointy chicks are the ones who so many parts of their anatomy tend to come to points. They've got pointy fingernails and pointy toenails, and of course their breasts are pointy, and maybe even their eyes are sort of almond shaped, so they're sort of pointy on either side, and they're just pointy as hell. And when you look at them, you can't help but get the point. So that's kind of where that came from, pointy chicks. And the cool thing is, it's one of those words that really you either get it or you don't. It doesn't seem to require much explanation, So there you have
those
it.
are the best kind of words, man.
Aren't
those
they?
are the best kind of words.
Yes.
Like when I was I used to be a vegetarian for like
Were
3 years,
you?
right?
How
Like a vegetarian.
long?
Yeah.
For how
Like
long were you a
3 years.
vegetarian? 3 years.
And yeah, for 3 years, like right after university, I saw the documentary movie Baraka, and it has a long sequence in a chicken plant, or like where they're dealing with processing chickens.
Sure.
And I don't know, man, it threw me right off for a while, and I just couldn't touch the stuff. But I remember at the time I wasn't a full blown vegetarian. I was definitely not a vegan. All those types really still to this day annoyed the fuck out of me.
Right.
But I would still eat fish, and my reasoning behind still eating fish was, first off, like I've never gone hunting, but I have caught, and I have killed, and I have cleaned, and I have prepared fish, right from water to plate.
Yep.
Right, and so I didn't really have an ethical issue towards fish. I mean, it's not like they have the biggest brains in the world. I'm not that worried about their feelings.
Right.
So
Sure.
I remember I was a vegetarian who ate fish, but I remember they like online the term that there was used for that was pescatarian.
Yes.
Right? Pescatarian was the word that people used for it. Terrible fucking word. Just a terrible word that
It
you
is.
have to always explain. Right? So you
Right.
just always had to explain that damn word. Nobody ever understood it at first. So I just started calling myself a vegetarian.
I like
and
that.
people got it right away.
That's good. You know what?
That's
very cool. Vegetarian. We should put that in there. Yeah.
But then my other friend, he had an even better term for what I was, and he called me a fish and chip
Pussy?
A what?
He called you a pussy?
No, he just walked over. He called me a fish and chipocrit.
Fish and chipocrit.
A fish and chipocrit. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. So that was the term.
I
Yeah.
like that
Sorry.
too.
I stepped on your joke.
Yeah, you did.
It's all right.
So, anyways,
Well, I mean, I get that. I mean, it really is. I've cut way back over the years on the amount of certainly meat that I eat, and yeah, the poultry thing, when you see it, it is pretty revolting. And like you, I've been a big fisherman all my life and done exactly what I used to live on the beach in New York, and right in front of my house was this jetty, and I knew of this. About halfway out this jetty was a kind of a depression in the seafloor. And it was really like fish in a barrel. I mean, I could go out there any time of the year, almost any time of day, drop a line and pull up a fish. And I would do that, and I'd take them inside. They were still flipping, and fillet them and fry them or barbecue, whatever, and eat them. And it was great.
Nice.
But I agree. There's something inherently, I think, cleaner. I mean, Christ, look at sushi. Would you bite into? I guess some people do with beef tartare, right? But I mean, I just can't imagine people that eat meat raw, although it's done.
no, well, that's So
Right.
like Buck, how's your fishing history? Are you a big fisherman? Did you go do a lot of fishing as a kid, or?
I would say that I've done more quality than quantity fishing.
Okay, all right.
Like my granddad used to go fishing a lot. That's kind of a family thing. My dad will take me fishing a couple times a year. We go out, but we don't really go. This is a saying in our family. We don't go fishing. We go catching.
Ah,
So whereas,
I like that.
yeah. So my dad and my brother went out fishing on Friday morning. Within a span of about 2 hours, they came back with like 60 fish.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that's typical for my family. We don't go fishing, we go catching.
Mm-hmm.
So
And this is
consequently, fish fries are a huge thing in my family.
this is fresh.
Interesting. So what kind of fish? Like,
Yeah.
What, me?
Yeah.
You, Larry.
yeah, what kind of fish?
We usually go in ponds around here in North Carolina. So you're talking brim, sometimes crappie, smallmouth bass, mostly
Okay.
brim.
Nice.
See, I think over my life, with the exception of the shark I caught off in Mexico, it's only been I caught my first fish I caught was a pike, and then after that it's just been rainbow trout the whole time, just rainbow trout. That's the Canadian lake trout for you. Is the trouts. But have you ever to go back to the animal treatment thing? Given that, we were recording this actually on Easter Monday. And so a few years ago, I think it was 3 years ago, while I was down in Paraguay, I killed my first mammal. And it was for an Easter weekend at a friend's farm. And the whole time they had played it up because they thought I was going to wince out, right? But they're like, yeah, come on out. We got a pig that we're going to slaughter.
Oh.
And they joked and they said, hey, how about this? You come out for this, but you're going to have to kill the pig. And I was like, all right, I'll fucking do it. Right? Like, I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then the whole time they thought I was going to back out and wuss out about it. But I was like, no, I'll fucking kill a pig. Like, bring me the pig. I'll kill it. And so, in the back of my head, I was like, okay, I gotta, this is like a rite of passage thing. You know what I mean? Like, cause
Sure.
when you kill, like Larry, when you catch and kill a fish, it's like, man, you feel like accomplished. You feel like badass. Like you feel like, yeah, man, I did this. I provided for myself.
Yes.
And so, I always like to run through, like you've talked about zombie apocalypse scenarios on your show, and we've talked about certain things like that before. I always like to think of shit hits the fan scenarios, and I'm the provider. I'm the patriarch in this household.
Of course.
So at some point in time, I'd like to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if I have to kill an animal to feed my family, I can do it.
There you
and
go.
So this was kind of like a test run. So we get
Right.
out to this thing, and they bring me to this pig. And it's a one-eyed pig that they named Ernesto.
Oh,
And,
no.
and
They brought
got
you
one
a
eye?
fucking
Yeah.
a handicapped pig with a name, and you're supposed to kill that.
Yeah.
Wow.
well, come on, man.
That's a
I
pet.
could kill a pig named Ernesto.
Right,
Ernesto
that's
Che Guevara. I could go and kill a commie pig any day of the week.
Well, that's true. Yes.
So there was, but what they didn't tell me about was like when you kill a pig, that is, whoosh, whoo, Jesus. Like it is not pretty at all. So basically they held this big pig, and it knew once they opened up that stall, it knew what was coming.
Ooh.
And so the husband of the lady whose farm we were at, he's one of the people holding the pig, and they basically expose the pig's neck, and then they give me a machete, an old machete, and it's just slice its neck. Like right there in the farmyard in front of the other pigs.
Right.
And so
That's how I knew what was coming.
As a warning.
I knew, yeah, exactly. So all of a sudden, they got this thing, they're holding it there, and they give me this machete, which, Buck, you might appreciate. I looked at this thing like it was a sword in my hand that I had to look back on my family history with, like I had that
Well,
moment.
it is a sword.
Yeah, I thought, how many animals, how many living creatures is this thing slaughtered? And so I go and I move right over to this thing. I look at it right in the eye, and it's looking at me. And sure enough, I was like, all right, let's do this thing, and whack, got it.
Whoa.
Blood everywhere. Thing is screaming like I killed like a niece.
Sure.
Like a child. Like it's just screaming like a small child, and all of a sudden it hits me, the gravity of the situation. Like, holy shit! This is huge. And blood is everywhere, and the dogs start coming in and licking up the blood. And I'm like, oh my God, I had to take a breather afterwards. I killed this damn thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I got it enough. It didn't suffer. Like, I made sure, but I'm thinking to myself, holy, is this the best way we could have done this?
Right.
And later on, I go to after they I didn't have to prep the thing. Somebody else prepped the thing, and we had the best feast that night. I mean, it was just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
However, I remember the husband comes up, and I was like, so how how did I do? I mean, that was pretty good. He goes, better than me. I've never killed a pig. What? What? You've never killed a pig?
Holy shit!
And so,
Wow.
and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was like, why did you have me do it that way? And he goes, well, I was gonna have the neighbor kill it for us, but I mean, you were right on board to do this. And he goes, normally, when I was growing up, my dad, he used to kill it with the butt of an axe. Like, he would just use the back end of an axe and smash the pigs, smash the pig with the axe to kill it
Force
immediately.
trauma, yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, fuck you guys, man! Like, fuck you guys! I just slaughtered a pig like it was like it was like out of the Bible.
Sure. So they
sure enough, yeah.
they made you into
Fuck.
Colonel Kurtz, and you should have been who the hell is that guy with the bolt, the cattle boat from No Country for Old Men, Anton Chigurh. That would have been the easier way, right?
Yeah, I should have had that.
You needed
I
that.
should have had that Anton Sugar thing. Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
But I just remember afterwards, like just you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I could think.
Sure.
You motherfucker. You're just taunting me like I'm some, like you think I'm going to be some pussy when
Sure.
really, like, you were hiring a random neighbor to do it for you because you don't like doing it. Ah, god damn it! And it was his kids that named the damn pig too.
Well, there's
I love that guy, Alberto. If you're hearing me, I miss you something fierce, my friend. Anyway, so that's my pig.
And
killing
Ernesto.
story. Yes, yeah. I don't miss Ernesto. Although Ernesto was yummy. Ernesto was really, really
See,
yummy.
that's the test right there. If you can actually continue on after you've killed the thing to eat it.
Oh,
Really?
I had to, and actually,
Yeah.
like it gives you this, like, I don't know, man. It gives you this, like, this rush where you're like, I just fed all these people, even though I didn't prep the pig, I didn't fucking feed the pig or grow the pig, but I'm just like, I'm mad. Like, I mean, the testosterone that was flowing through me that night. I mean, I had dreams of, like, barbarians and warriors. It was like blood-curdling screams that is, going off in the
pigs.
distance. Yeah, just fire and everything. I think my beard grew like 3 inches that day.
Yeah.
It was such a badass moment.
That's wild.
My goodness.
Well, I guess there's something
Yeah,
about
so-
that, right? There's a lesson in there about the idea of cold blood, right? Because it's a lot easier
Yeah.
to kill something when you're pissed off at it, right? But even think about a fish, right? You pull in a fish. Now, as you said, they're all pretty stupid, right? But still, when you boat a fish, you've been fighting the son of a bitch if it's a decent sized fish.
Oh god,
Right?
yeah.
So it doesn't really bother you to snuff it out at that point. But somebody brings you a pig like that, which has, they say, they're right up there with dogs and minor birds on the intelligence level. And I'm sure when you looked in that guy's eyes, you didn't see a blank stare. As you said, he knew what was coming, right? So of course that would be unsettling, unless you're a maniac, right?
Yeah, that would. I mean, it shook me to my core.
Yeah,
of course. That was absolutely the feeling that I had.
Sure.
Chaco, you stone cold bastard.
Yeah.
Cold killer. Now, I felt bad about killing a fish once.
Did you?
So we're talking about fish. I did feel bad. Yeah, I was about 10 years old, and I was off for the school for the summer, and there's a pond. I'm actually on the same property. So there's a pond that way, like a quarter of a mile. So I just grabbed a fishing rod, got on my bike, and rode up there. And I didn't have any bait. I was just gonna cast like just a hook and just cast. I didn't even want to catch a fish. I just wanted to cast.
Right.
I just wanted some fun casting and reeling. Well, one of those fish took the hook.
Ah,
Yeah.
That fish
hell?
deserved to die, dude.
hungry ass fish.
So
Wow.
when I catch the thing, yeah. And so I'm 10 years old, and I've never been fishing without an adult. I never caught a fish without an adult. So I'm like, I'm not real sure how I can get the hook out of this thing's mouth. I mean, they had the spines on the back, so you go to grab it, and it's like, and I was 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, the only thing I can think to do is put the rod back over my shoulder with the fish hanging off of it, like the Andy Griffith
There
Show.
you go.
turn my happy little tail around and march back up to the house and see if there's an adult home who can get the fish off the hook. Well, of course, nobody was home. It was the middle of the day. Everyone's at work. So then I'm like, what am I going to do with this fish? So he's already starting to dry out, and I'm like, now I feel bad. I'm like, this thing is going to essentially suffocate to death in the air instead of in the water. So I go over to the outside water hose, and I turn on the hose and start putting water in his mouth to give it to let it breathe. And I'm at a loss. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I can't get the hook out. I don't know how to do this. So then I'm like, well, okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a big Ziploc bag full of water, because the bucket had a hole in it. I was going to get a bucket. It had a crack. Crap. So I got a Ziploc bag, filled it with water, and then I was going to snip the line, put the fish in the bag, give it to like Dad whenever he got home from work that evening, and then I was going to carry the fish back up there to the pond and let it out. And after a while, I was like, you know what? That's not enough water to keep this fish alive. I don't really know what I'm going to do, so I ended up putting it in the freezer alive. And froze it down.
I think you're sicker than Joel.
I was like, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't just like let it go with a hook in his mouth. Wow. And I wasn't going to sit there and fucking babysit the thing all day. I had Nintendo to play. Fuck that. And I wasn't going to like march my happy tail back up there with a bag with a fish in it to retrieve my bike. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. You're going in the freezer. We'll deal with you later. And I froze to death.
Well, you know what? It's funny. This what you just said. Now you tell me, you guys, you want to hold off on this a bit till later. But I just recalled what I don't get, and it was triggered by Nick's story there about that fish. And like I said, if you want to, we can go to that now, or you want to do it a little later on.
You know what? Why don't we let the guests go first this week?
All right.
If you got
I'm
it.
down.
If you
I'll
got
get
it
it
ready
ready
for you, man, let's get rocking and rolling. This is,
all right.
You know, I love natural segues, man. Natural
there you go.
segues are the best kind of segues.
All right.
Especially when you talk about them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Larry, what about you, buddy?
Well, here's what I don't get. Now, I recall fishing. Love that bell. Ding, ding. When I was, I guess in my late teens, I recall my brother had just gotten married, and I had an uncle and some cousins that lived up in the Catskills of upstate New York.
Okay.
And it was pretty rural. It was really nice.
Where Mike Tyson's from, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's really it's nice country up there. You know, nice rolling hills and very green and everything. And so my cousin Johnny and I, he grew up there, so he knew all the back roads and where the good fishing holes were and everything. And he took me out to a pretty good sized lake. You know, I mean, I'm sure it was a couple miles at least in diameter. And I forget what the hell we were fishing for, sunfish or crappies or perch or something. And we are the only guys there. Okay, the only other sound you hear is maybe a truck on an interstate miles away and birds in the trees, and that's it. And suddenly, and then within about 15 minutes, we've caught a couple of fish. It's beautiful. We hear people, clodding through the woods, thump of their boots, and these fucking assholes come and set up their folding chairs. I mean, almost on top of us. I'm thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? You've got if who's a math guy? I mean, if the diameter of that lake was 2 miles, the fucking perimeter must have been 50. Why here? Right? Why here?
Jesus.
Yeah, it was so annoying. But people do that shit all the time. They do it at the beach, right? I'll go down to an empty beach on a chilly, right? Chilly day in Malibu. I just want to stare at the fucking waves and collect my thoughts. 2 minutes later, there's some asshole right next to me blasting a boombox. Why? Why the fuck do people do that? I don't get that. But I'll just want to close this loop a little bit about what you were saying, Nick, with not wanting to harm the fish, right? And I remember my cousin and I, we brought a couple of 6-packs down to the lake with us. And when I caught the first one, I pulled it up and I was having some trouble getting the hook out of its mouth. I remember my cousins saying, "Hey, go easy on the little guy there. He's got some growing to do, and I'm trying to take this hook out without damaging him too much." And then by about the time we were finished with that first 6-pack, I pulled in another one, and this time he says, "Yeah, rip its fucking jaws out."
Yikes.
Little bit of a difference there. Just a few cans of beer made on his outlook of with the fish. It was very funny.
Alcohol! You make us so friendly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's like I had to take a shot of cognac before I killed the pig. It just like get that nerve out of the way. But I mean, you know,
Really?
when it comes to just like being sadistic towards fish, jeez.
Oh yeah.
Like we used to have this little bat that we kept in our tackle box. This like little mini bat.
Sure.
And it was like the thing that you'd bash them over the head with
Sure.
to kill the
The
fish right off. the
fish
bat.
Billy.
And
Fish Billy. It's like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. It was perfect. It worked out great.
Yeah.
And it was funny though because the other time when I caught that shark, I didn't want that thing to die. I wanted it to go back in. I had like a respect for this shark. It was big. I was like, I'm not going to do anything with it. And those motherfuckers on the boat, they was like immediately just killed it right off the bat, right in front of me. It was like, and then presenting it to me like it was like a cat dragging in a canary or something. Like, no, I don't want that dead. Just, no, please put it back in the ocean. Damn it.
Oh, the things we do for a conscience.
Yeah.
I once, when I was an adult, I shot a squirrel that I was holding in my hand.
Oh!
Whoa! Okay, that's the most sadistic thing that's been said on this show. It's like, what are you,
Listen,
any
listen,
last
listen,
words, motherfucker? Bam!
What'd you shoot him with?
Listen. It was a 22. I had already shot it once. I was squirrel hunting,
Okay.
and I was using a rifle, and I shot it, and it was laying there. The way it got hit, I won't go into details. People get grossed out. But it was dying, but not dead, and it was suffering really bad.
Oh,
So I picked it up by the tail, pulled out my 22 sidearm, and went,
So it was a
put it out of its misery.
mercy kill.
And then my wife was pregnant at the time, and so we were having lunch, and I was telling her about it. And you know how the pregnancy thing makes them kind of emotional sometimes. And so as I'm telling her this story, she goes, "You shot it while you were holding it in your hand?" It's like, yeah, it was great. Put it right out. She starts tearing. Oh, it was so great. What you got?
I just wanted to say that's like the second time on Here's What I Don't Get that you've had a buck with a gun and his pregnant wife story. I just got to point that out. That's the second time because you
Did I
had the
ever
one
say
with
about the time she shot a possum?
No, and I'd love to hear it
so,
right now.
So would I. Yeah.
No. Let's say that we'll make that bonus material.
All right,
That's another story.
in overtime. Oh, but Larry, your thing about like I gotta admit, man, like it pisses me off when people just sidle right up to you and ruin a perfectly good spot, a perfectly good location. It's the worst, man. And like when I go to the beach in Vancouver, this was also a problem. Which was, people either bringing their stereos, which I'm fine with. Bring your stereo, but keep it at a low level and just put your head by it. Like, don't pollute me with your shit music.
Right.
But even worse than that, and this is like a side problem. It's not my issue, but Jesus, it deserves its own. Drum circles. I don't know if they have that at the fucking beach in California.
Sure.
But holy good God, when there is a drum circle going on and they go for hours and hours and hours. Boom, boom, but fuck off! Go away! Leave me alone! I'm trying to listen to my music. I'm trying to read a book. Get out of my head!
Yeah.
The worst. I hate drum circles. Oh, worst. And they think that they're like doing it for everybody.
Right.
They think that this is like a gift that they're bestowing upon us, and it's just like fuck, you're terrible, and there's no talent in there. They just basically everybody just like brings their drum and just starts wailing away on it. There's no rhythm.
It's like a circle of kindergartners.
The worst.
Isn't that annoying?
Fuck drum circles. Fuck drum circles. They're the absolute worst.
Well, the question is, you see some of these people at the beach, why the fuck do they do that anyway? I mean, unless you live on the beach, which of course they don't, or they wouldn't be going to a public beach, right? Why bring 200 drums and your closest friends to bang on them? Isn't part of being at the beach listening to the fucking ocean and the gulls, right? I mean, and you see that with other people too. I'll never understand this. It's so common. As people lying there, they're reading, a book or their tablet, and they've got the fucking headphones in their ears. And I always want to stop and tap and say, why the fuck did you come to the beach? You're indulging in complete sensory deprivation. You could be doing this in your home. Why are you here?
They want the tan.
Yeah,
They just want the tan.
you get that too. You get that.
That's all they want is the tan.
The sun never stops shining in L.A. and there's a fucking tanning parlor on every corner. I'll never get that either.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that was It's noisy. Like Buck, you have brought up noisy neighbors or noisy people or before, right? Like you had after you talked about like 4th of July celebrations and stuff.
Oh yeah, when it sounds like there's a war going on outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas, like when I was in Paraguay, we had that, which was like all the fireworks going off all the time. Which, like I've told this story before. It was the fireworks right there, like where Larry has brought up before on the Dick Show. You've brought up about how there's that moment you just know when you've gotten one past the goalie on your wife, and that a baby is on the way. You know, like that moment,
Sure.
that absolute moment of conception.
Yes.
Well, like with my second born, literally. The moment that it happened, it was like something out of a movie.
Oh,
there were fireworks going off outside, and my wife and I just laughed. Like it was like everybody at the same time, just boom, boom, and boom, 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 everywhere. And that's how my daughter came into this universe right then and there.
What you also need for that is that music they always play right then.
Exactly, and then just pan away to the window and have the
montage of nature.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, and trains going into tunnels.
Of course.
but no, one of the things that I used to hate in Paraguay was noisy neighbors with their music.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember like the first time we had put the baby to bed, we were hanging out, we were getting ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden, it was during this week again, in Paraguay, it's like the whole week is Semana Santa. So right around Easter, it's like the whole damn week, everybody gets it off. Mm-hmm. And everybody acts like a complete asshole about it. And so our neighbors, they were having this massive party right across the way. And I remember we were right about to fall asleep. We're laying in bed. It was like, we turned off the lights. We turned off our tablets and all that kind of stuff. And sure enough, right off the bat, Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean starts bellowing through the entire house.
Yeah.
Just totally just annihilating everything. And I'm thinking to myself, my son is in the front room that's closest to this. And I go and I look outside to go and see what the neighbor's doing that would, why is it so loud? And sure enough, it was like the guy had backed up his car. They were having a street party on our block. We weren't invited because we were and he had his entire hatchback was just one big giant speaker.
Yeah.
It was like an industrial sized concert speaker, like something at a Rolling Stones concert. And this guy was and I thought it was so funny. Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean was the song that they decided to open their party with. And so, it was a big deal in Paraguay for a lot of them to really blast the music, especially, I don't know, have you ever heard the type of music reggaeton?
I don't think so.
Have you heard of this type of music before? It's not reggae. Mm-hmm. It's reggaeton.
No.
And it's if you listen to the lyrics of it, it's just filthy, dirty, terrible lyrics, but done to this same pop beat, and every song sounds exactly the same, and it's the most popular type of music across South America, and it blows me away. And so basically, because all the songs sound the same, it felt like the same car kept going by me over and over again, and you just hear it from blocks away.
Oh,
and
God.
you're like, what is that song, and why do I have to keep hearing it? But then when you flip through the radio stations, all you hear is reggaeton, reggaeton, reggaeton. They had this other type of music, which was like Paraguayan polka, which was amazing. They never played it. Only at parties when everybody was drunk, but otherwise it was that reggaeton, 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 and for whatever reason, Billy Ocean, Caribbean Queen. So we got you back, Buck. You're back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, sorry.
We lost you, Buck?
Did you get your goodbye kiss?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to go take care of some family business real quick.
Sure.
Did you get your goodbye kiss? Oh, you're killing me with that.
What is there a meaning to the word reggaeton, Joel, or just something random?
I don't know. It's something I want to look up because and there's people who they defend it to the end of the earth, but yet there's some videos online you can actually look up, and it's where Spanish speakers actually translate the lyrics to popular reggaeton songs, and I'm telling you, man, they're filthy, absolutely filthy. They make 2 Live Crew look like schoolgirl angels. It's just unbelievable how filthy these songs are, and yet they're played on the radio, and everything is like complete innuendo. And you know, people dance to them all the time. They love it, but I couldn't get behind it. I couldn't dig the reggaeton. It just didn't do it for me. So, yeesh. So, shall we move on to the? Do you have anything else to add, Larry, or should we move to the next issue?
I'm ready. I'm ready to move. Sure.
All right. Since you went first last week, Buck, I'm gonna jump in here, but I know you have opinions on this, and I know Larry has opinions on this. So, here's what I don't get. Sugary holidays.
Oh, yeah, I've got opinions.
Oh, yeah.
I need my shades for this to hide my emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to clarify, sugary holidays are particularly holidays that involve giving your children a shit ton of candy and other people giving your children even more candy. And then that candy sticking around your household for what seems like months on end afterwards. Even if you ration it out, you're still going to be like, there's nowhere you can go with it. Like fucking Halloween.
Oh.
Halloween is on October 31st. And I mean, that fucking candy will last you all the way until Christmas.
Oh,
If you ration it out, and the kid will always want it, you know, they'll be asking about it. Can I have some more of my candy? Can I have some more of my Halloween candy? If I was good today, can I get 3 pieces of candy?
Yeah.
This is fucking candy. Fucking candy, man. And the problem is that you give the candy to the kid, they can't go to sleep on time. Their behavior goes all to shit. It's the fucking worst.
It is.
You've gone through this, Buck. I mean, like, Easter just happened. Did you have candy in your household for Easter?
Well, we do. We have some small amounts. We've learned with Annabelle, if someone gives her candy and she doesn't know about it, don't tell her. Just don't tell. Because she's one of those, for being 4 years old, almost 5 now, she is freakishly, like, pedantically smart. And so she will find ways to con you into giving her candy. And then she's found out when to use the right tone of voice. She's such a girl. Anyway, she'll be like, Daddy, I didn't lose any fish today at school. Talking about, like, for behavior, you lose a fish or whatever. I didn't lose any fish today at school. Can I have candy? And I say, no, I think you've had enough candy this week. Oh. And you're like, oh, God, would you please? Oh. Yeah.
They're addicts. The fucking kids are they're total junkies when it comes to this stuff. Like, with my son. Okay, well, here's a theory I have. Like, first off, like Halloween's the worst. Halloween is by far the worst. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why is because, like, when I was a kid, every kid went out trick-or-treating. There was a lot of us. We'd go out in the streets, and it was like that scene in the movie E.T. when they went out for Halloween, and there was just a shit ton of kids just, like, crisscrossing each other in the streets.
Sure.
That's what Halloween was for me as a kid. But for whatever reason, Halloween has started to kind of peel back, and there's not as many kids going out trick or treating anymore. Or worse, what they'll do is these parents who are helicopter parents who are afraid that, like, that nefarious razor apple that doesn't exist is going to get into your kids'
don't get me
bag.
started.
Oh.
So they take them to the malls. So apparently, like, malls are a safe way to get your kids out there. So what ends up happening is if you do take your kid out, and you're going to these houses. There's all these houses that are, like, ready to give out candy. They're totally ready. They love the practice of it. They love the whole thing, but they overbought on the candy because there's not enough kids coming around to come and take the candy. So when every house you go to, it's like your kid holds it out, and then all of a sudden it's like 2, 3, 4 full fistfuls of candy bars just going straight into your kid's sack. I was, like, going with my kid, and we had like 2 or 3 extra auxiliary bags to, like, basically like lobby these things into and move them around so that, like, he wasn't carrying this heavy ass bag the whole time. Now, to be fair, I mean, parents can steal some candy. Like, that happens. Like, there's a tax. There's definitely a parent tax for that. Right. Although my kid, for whatever reason, like, we're going around to these houses, and he was turning down types of candy that both my wife and I totally love. Like, anything Reese's Pieces or Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, he'd be like, no, I don't like peanut butter. And then he'd, like, hand it back to them, and we're like, no, we want that, please. Oh,
He's
God.
smart. He's smart. He's on to you. He knows what's up. This
But,
is
like,
what my dad wants to eat. I'm going to make sure that's not in there. There's nothing but Tootsie Rolls. Nothing but Tootsie Rolls. I'm going to eat all the Tootsie Rolls in the world, and my dad hates them. But anyway.
Well, it's like a Christmas time. I can't take my kid fucking anywhere. Fucking anywhere. Because every single cashier at the till is like, would you like a candy cane? Here you go. Here's a candy cane. It's a candy cane. The beer and wine store, candy cane. The grocery store, candy cane. The drugstore, candy cane. I took my kid to go and change our oil, candy cane. And it's like, no, enough with the candy. Stop. I'm trying to keep this down to a minimum. And you're not the one who is going to have to put him to bed later, and then put him back to bed, and then put him back to bed again when he's coming back out, like at 9:30 for whatever reason.
Ain't that the truth?
So,
oh my God!
Pump your kids full of sugar and like, well, I'm out. Have fun dealing with that.
well, that begs the question: with all these kids being offered candy at every time they turn around, what the fuck are the pedophiles saying now? You want to hear? Would you like a bag of carrots? What are they using for? What are they using for bait? Because the kids are already candied up.
Nah, man, they're giving them Pokemon.
Drugs.
They're giving them Pokemon Go characters.
Oh, okay.
You know, like they're summoning them over and giving them Pokemon.
They're giving them
Go
amiibos.
characters. Yes, exactly. I have no.
Funko Pop figurines. No, wait, that's adults. Never mind.
But so we just came out of Easter weekend. We did the egg hunt.
Right.
You know, we did the egg hunt. But it was also like my son's birthday weekend. So, you know, we had kids over and they had party bags and you give them off, you know, like the candy on the way. Like we're culprits. I mean, I'm absolutely hypocritical in this.
Right.
But, you know, then we got cake and then we got like the family dinner. So there's more cake. And then on top of it, it's like, well, it's Easter. Here's a giant bag of eggs from Grandma and Grandpa. And you're like, that's more problems. And then I get a giant bag of eggs. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then...
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different. Even though I can't eat them for another month or so. But
Well, the other problem is when you end up buying candy for yourself.
Yeah.
So my guilty pleasure that it comes around every Easter is Starburst jelly beans.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, those are good.
You're damn right they're good. And I bought a bag like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I went through it in like 2 days. I was like, oh my God.
Sure.
How am I ever going to lose weight this way? And so I gave myself sugar headaches and shit. And so then I told my wife, I was like, no more of these, no more of these. Today she finds them at the store for like 99 cents a bag.
Of course.
And buys me like half a crate. She's like, I know you love these. I was like, yes, I do. You're trying to kill me.
He is trying to kill you.
You wonderful woman, I hate you.
Well, like a few years ago when we were down in Paraguay, my mom, sweet lady, she knows that my wife really likes those Cadbury mini eggs, like the ones with the little crunchy shell on the outside.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
Right, they're delicious. But the thing
They're
is,
addictive.
yeah. But I remember, like, it was like she sent a package down to us in Paraguay. Now we use this service called Paraguay Box, and you actually got charged by the weight of your package. So I remember my mom sending this down, and she sent like a full kilogram bag of stuff down. And I remember it was like a full kilo and like some other stuff. But I remember like having to say to her after, I was like, you know, that was like $20 on my end. That was like an extra $20 for like a bag of Easter eggs. We like them. It's great. But a small bag would have totally sufficed. We would have gotten our fix in.
Sure.
It would have been great. But, you know, she was going above and beyond to kind of do it a little offshoot on the Cadbury mini eggs. I used to always like Cadbury cream eggs or Cadbury cream Easter eggs, right? And they get smaller and smaller and smaller every year. You look at these things; they're fucking tiny now. Like it's like the size of your thumb now. It's getting so small. But what I read an article on this, and this is true. They used to be called Cadbury Easter cream eggs. They've gotten rid of the word Easter, and they've got the big H on there. It's a halal. It's a halal friendly thing. So they got rid of the Easter, threw on the halal. And you're like, oh, God, like, can we? Is nothing sacred?
No.
That was an Easter egg.
No.
That was an Easter egg.
It's not insane.
Ishtar egg, yeah.
There you go. It's a Ramadan
Well,
egg.
that's like Google. Google Doodle didn't have an Easter Doodle again. It's very easy. Just put a couple of little Fabergé eggs and then some bunny ears. It's really easy. Nope.
You're going to piss off a lot of Christians.
Oh, fuck
But they do have a countdown to Ramadan. They do have a countdown to Ramadan through Google. So, okay, I'm going to get myself into M103 trouble. Yeah. But that is my issue today is candy holidays. I have a big beef with almost all holidays in general. I kind of hate statutory holidays.
Yeah.
Sure.
I kind of fucking hate them. We've talked about this. Like, I kind of hate them, but...
Yeah, especially
Now, speaking of the Cadbury eggs...
yes.
when I was a kid, my mom used to get those. My mom would keep me and my cousin, we're the same age, and she would go to the drugstore, the pharmacy, and they'd have the Cadbury eggs. She'd get one, and she'd cut it in half and give each of us a half. And of course, we were like 3. We couldn't finish it. She wouldn't let us finish it. That was way too much sugar, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right? Mm-hmm. Too rich. So, and then she could get home from running her errands in the morning and put us down for a nap, and she would set each half of the Cadbury egg that we hadn't finished on the piano, like just on a little spot on the piano, and you could have it when you get up from your nap. And every day, invariably, somehow, the motherfucking ants, quote unquote, the ants, they found them, and there's covered in ants. They had to get thrown away. It took me till I was in my damn 20s to think back. You're like, I saw them at a store. It's like Cadbury eggs. Motherfucking ant bait is what that shit.
Oh yeah.
Motherfuck.
Oh yeah.
She was eating my Cadbury.
Yeah. You know what?
It took me that long.
They love them. When I was a kid, I can remember walking down a street with my mom and dad and my brother. And this is in New York, and it was at night, and there was a candy store with a big picture window in front, and it was closed. And it must have been a little bit before Easter time, because they had a chocolate Easter bunny in the window of that candy store about the size of one of Joel Chaco's midget wrestlers. It was enormous, right? And
short sleeve Samson, yeah.
And as we walked by, we all kind of stopped because we couldn't figure out exactly what we were looking at. And then when we stopped and got a real close-up look, because it was a little bit, it wasn't that well lit a window, that entire chocolate bunny was covered. I mean, it was just moving, roiling with ants. If there was one ant on that thing, there must have been a million. It looked like some weird, it looked like a Hollywood effect. And yeah, I hear what you're saying, because I wasn't too big on chocolate Easter bunnies for quite some time after seeing that. It's pretty repulsive. Yeah. Yeah.
So gross.
Gross.
Well, so Larry, have things changed? I mean, your daughters have grown up and moved on. Like, have things changed? Am I bitching about stuff that parents bitched about, 10 years ago, or is this?
I think it's still the same. I mean, everybody knows, all this candy crap really isn't good for them, and they get buffeted by it at every turn. Certainly Halloween, certainly the Christmas candy canes too, and even around Valentine's Day, people are popping chocolates at them. Sure, yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, I have had no solution. The only thing I had was my wife has always been pretty diligent about trying to not let them develop sweet tooths. Because face it, a hell of a lot of parents,
smart.
They use candy the way other parents might use television. As kind of a pacifier. Shut up and eat this, or stare at that. And if you do that enough, that's what they get accustomed to. So she was always pretty rigid on not being too liberal with the sweets. But I'll tell you what, the thing that drives me batshit is the helicopter parents thing, especially at Halloween. We had an incident a couple of years ago at Halloween. We went to trick or treating with some friends who live in a really fucking upscale neighborhood. I mean, cheapest house over there is
like full candy bar size?
Well,
is that the kind of neighborhood that you were in, like the full candy bars instead of those little snack ones that were given out?
I wasn't. I don't know that there was much of a difference in the size of the candy, but all I know is that these, a starter home in this neighborhood is about $3 million. And
okay.
And you would have thought, the way we went with a few other people and their kids, and they were all roughly around the same age, maybe maybe like I don't know, 4th to 6th or 7th grade, around in that bracket. And these other parents with their kids, you would have thought that they were trick-or-treating in fucking Syria. I mean, just petrified. Don't ring that doorbell. I didn't look at it first yet. Don't cry. And it was so insane. They were so uptight and paranoid about what, and not even razors and apples. Just like, who the fuck is going to be on the other side of a door of a house that costs $5 million? Charles Manson? What the fuck are you worried about? And so finally, after about 20 minutes of this, I grabbed my daughter and my wife and said, we're out of here. We'll see you. And we went to another area because I couldn't take their paranoia of the whole safety. There was that, it's so that I think is a major change. Certainly when I was a kid. I mean, the idea when I was growing up, if some adult had said, we're going to accompany you trick-or-treating, we'd have told them to fuck off. In exactly those words. It was inconceivable. I mean, are you kidding? No.
Yeah.
Inconceivable. And we would leave the house
we're
at dusk.
in this age where you can't do it.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's paranoia. I think it's due to social media because you know what? I'm pretty sure there's a lot more people now than there were then. But probably the proportion of kooks and pedophiles is probably just the same, right? Why would that change?
Probably.
From one generation to the next. It probably doesn't. But, however, thanks to Twitter and, whatever, and alarmist news, everybody is somebody to be wary of. And that's sad. That's fucked up for the kids, isn't it? It really is. That they have to be in fear all the time.
What bugs me is, it drives me crazy is when that becomes law.
Right.
And like I brought it up on the show before. There was a mom who got in some serious trouble. Like I think they almost took her kid away, and this is out in Winnipeg in Canada, and she got in shit because she let her 8-year-old daughter play by herself in the backyard.
I remember you talking about that, and I was rip shit when I heard that. Yes, how horrible.
Yeah,
that's horse shit.
Yeah,
and so like I live right near where my kid's going to be going to school. And I loved it as a kid. I remember saying to my mom, like, it's not cool if you walk me to school. Like, I'm done. Like,
right.
Let me walk to school by myself. Like, maybe like at the age of 6 or 7. Like, I was like, I got this. Right. I know how to get there. I'm fine. And now, even if my kid is like, Dad, fuck off. I can get there by myself. It's like, no, I don't want you to get taken away by social services. I have to take you all the way to the school. And actually, if you go to the school now, it's like if you go before school or after school, it's like this like long fucking parade of SUVs just idling and waiting for their kids to come out of school, and they have to have like a traffic moderator who's going to sit there and like say, okay, like at the airport with taxis. It's like, okay, now we can let 4 cars come in, and they can come in and they can pick up their kids, and then off you go. And it's this whole rigmarole, and it's all because of what? What changed?
What changed? What changed?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Too much paranoia.
It's paranoid bullshit.
Too many
Wasn't
cowards.
my side, man. Too many cowards. You should save that. That would be.
It's paranoia.
I think I'm gonna put a.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just go ahead. You got a point, and then we'll put a lace on my issue.
I think it's paranoia, Joel and Buck, and I think it's compounded by the sort of the cultural bias against anybody ever being mocked. And you got to know, you're not the only guy that's thinking this way, and there's a vast number of other people that think this whole overemphasis on safety is insane. But nobody anymore could look at one of those helicopter parents and go, "Are you out of your fucking mind? What's the matter with you?" Right? Nobody can say that anymore, can they?
No, because you'll get that's a hate crime.
That's a hate crime.
Larry. That's
hate
crime.
That's hate speech and a hate crime.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Hate speech. Exactly.
Now you're a shamer.
Right.
Got $15,000 fine.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's insane.
Oh boy. So sugary holidays. They suck.
They do suck.
I don't like them. Fuck them.
It's a good issue, Joel.
It's a good issue.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. So, advertising.
Yes.
Oh. All right. Please.
Of course.
Please.
You know how this goes every week. Larry, the ads have gotten progressively worse
Have they?
since the last time you were on the show.
I don't know though. Although I don't know when he was on the show the first time, it was a real doozy with that pizza ping pong place.
The Pied Piper Polynesian Pizza and Pasta Ping Pong Palace.
Yes.
Exactly.
They never
Good
paid.
one.
Well,
They never
That was
paid.
the only one we ever did have money in hand from, and they demanded it back.
They did,
So-
and then when you sent it back, like you got flagged by a couple of different authorities. So
Yeah, I didn't. Listen, well, that's bonus material, man. Don't drop the hot goss on the main line. So anyway, this week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you by Real Tours of Afghanistan.
oh no, oh god,
What do you mean, oh no?
dude,
This
who
real
wants to go
estate
to
is a legit business. They're always advertising.
go on.
Afghanistan has really lush areas.
Lush?
Yeah.
It's a mountainous
you-
fucking shithole.
Some areas are, but there's also some nice lush regions. Like every you have to be livable somewhere. It's not the Korengal Valley.
All right.
So this has been in the pipe a while, but hopefully they're still up for it. Okay. Greetings to all our new international friends. We are Realtors of Afghanistan, and we are happy to offer you prime real estate in our nation. Been thinking of migrate. What? What?
If you buy real estate there, you're gonna like live there, and like there's serious problems, man. It's like Taliban rule, and I'll go ahead.
Listen, they're trying. Listen, they're trying to import some fresh ideas, some fresh labor,
No, they're not.
some fresh money. Just listen. Politics later. Been thinking of migrating to Afghanistan? We're the real estate company that's right for you. Now, this week's special. Hold on. This week's special offering, is prime location in the Nangarhar province.
Oh God!
With lots of wide open,
no.
lots of wide open space,
Dude.
lots of subterranean tunnels.
You just said
Oh God!
Dude, yeah, I'm telling you, the tunnels are gone. That's exactly where the mother of all bombs, the Moab, was dropped there. That if it's cheap, it better be like you better be paying people to go there. There's no way you can sustain life in that. No, it's done. It's done. No way.
I need a sound effect. I need a button I can press for this right here. Fuck me.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that copy. Oh, no way that one's paying. No way that one. That's a very, 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 very specific niche of people. People who listen to conservative comedy podcasts and are thinking about migrating to Afghanistan. Like, I don't think out of all 5,000 of our subscribers, there's no way that not even one.
I don't care. They're paying us, or at least they
hope
were.
They will.
I mean, obviously, I don't think they're selling that particular parcel of land anymore. It's about a mile-wide sheet of glass at this point.
No shit.
Yeah.
Fucking crater.
Well, until they do pay us, we would really love your support. Patreon.com/HWIDG. That stands for Here's What I Don't Get. That's how you support the show. That's how we were able to upgrade our equipment, upgrade Buck's internet speed so that we can get some live video action happening in the future.
I'm trying it today. If you're seeing this, it worked. If you're not seeing this, if video for this episode never came out, disregard everything. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
But this is how we get there. So we have 3 tiers. This is how you support the show. If you really like us, if you really want us to get better, if you want us to have better content, maybe more content, this is how you get more Buck and Chaco, man. It's through patreon.com/HWIDG.
Well, go ahead and do the tiers, but I have an announcement I want to make after you're done talking about the tiers, and we'll discuss a thing.
All right. Well, we got 3 tiers. We got the $1, the $1 tier, the $5 tier, the $10 tier. $1 gets you early access to all episodes. As soon as I'm done editing them, you get to hear them. And you also get access to the bonus content. Well, not the bonus content. You also get access to the test episodes that we recorded before we were really humming on this thing. So they're all there for the $1 tier people. And occasionally I sneak off an extra outtake or something to you guys. Just a little nibble for what the $5 big ones get. You know,
an extra thank you.
An extra thank you. But the $5 Patreon supporters, wow, you guys get bonus episodes galore. You get all types of outtakes, extra material from interviews with guests, stories that didn't make it onto the show, as well as full bonus episodes, including Here's What I Do Get. You also got the Ask Chaco Jr. episode that my son and I did. All types of stuff out there for the $5 tier. And then for the $10 tier, you get everything we just described, plus video content, and you get to submit a 10-word list to Uncle Buck to recite to you in his sexy southern drawl.
Yeah, baby.
So patreon.com/HWIDG. It's super secure, and it's how we keep this thing going. So thank you so much for your support, and go for it.
So I have a very special announcement. Everybody get ready. Everybody get ready for the... God, that's so fucking loud.
That's a good
special announcement
though.
for everyone. I've decided to start doing a new segment.
This is news.
A new video segment. Now, so far, if you're interested in the $10 tier, you get bonus video stuff such as bucking around with Uncle Buck. That's we've got a few of those out. You've got sipping and savoring with Uncle Buck, where I get a hold of some sort of delectable adult beverage, and I that's none of my business. You've also got at least one episode of In the Kitchen with Uncle Buck. Mm-hmm. At some point, I've got planned Picking and Grinning with Uncle Buck, where I'll do some music. If anybody wants it, maybe not. But for very, very, very soon consumption, starting probably the day you hear this episode, I'm going to start having Ask Uncle Buck. I don't know what tier to put it in, or even if I want to put it behind the paywall. I don't know. There's so many opportunities. But Ask Uncle Buck is going to be my weekly advice column, where you can write in a question. Write a question to Uncle Buck through any of our social media platforms, and I will pick one per week, and give you a few minutes of video discussing my thoughts on whatever topic it is you happen to have sent me that day.
That sounds awesome. And so you can get to him through Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
Uncle Buck HWIDG.
Awesome. And then Facebook.com/HWIDG. If you send a message and you get a -UB at the bottom, that means Uncle Buck sent you the response. If it's just a capital F or a "Get away, kid, you're bothering me," that's generally going to be from me.
Kingfisher, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Here's a thought I had, and I'm going to discuss it with you live on the show. We're going to have a business meeting live on the show. Oh, God. I'm thinking about doing the first several. What is this? I'm thinking about doing the first several, at least,
for free,
in front of the paywall.
All right. Yeah, why not?
As a way to say thank you to all of our listeners. At least the first several, the first few weeks.
Yeah. Get it flowing.
Maybe it'll go behind the paywall after that. Maybe not. But
Maybe
I want people to have more content.
Maybe you
were you about to say something, Larry?
Yeah, maybe you should consider some slightly different persona for each of those segments, Buck. Like, for when you're talking about adult beverages, it's Brewmeister Buck. And you might be, dressed like, in a big rubber apron or something, however the hell those guys dress. I don't know. And then when it's ask time, it's Ask Professor Buck. And there you are in your cap and gown, looking professorial. You got to brand these fucking things.
He's talking about buying a lot of expensive shit to wear.
Oh, you can.
That's Larry's idea is buy expensive things that nobody cares about.
No, Hollywood.
Just gimmick them. I am so Hollywood. Just fucking gimmick them like when they put the MAGA hat on Shia LaBeouf up in Finland. Did you see that picture? How fucking funny was that?
Yeah, there you go.
Was that?
Yeah, we'll fix it in post.
Exactly.
Yeah. If anyone shows interest, maybe I'll start doing that. Until then, there's just Uncle Buck.
Sounds like a great idea, man. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing that one rock and roll.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
So, are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for Buck's issue.
Well, I just want to go ahead and say, everybody, you better grab a hold of your butts. Hold on to your butts, as they said in Jurassic Park. Because things are changing. The winds of change have blown through the Buck household, in the one window over here, and around the room, and back out the other window next to it. The winds of change. Buck's changing it. You get that I'm doing something different. That's the fucking joke the illusion I'm making here is I'm doing something different. Today, Buck is talking about politics.
And I talk about a dickhead. I talked about a silly issue, and you get to talk about politics. It's Bizarro World, everybody.
It is. Everyone grow a goatee right now. Women too.
Wait a minute. I'm sewing on my elbow patches on my tweed jacket. There we go. Okay, I'm ready.
There you go. So, without any further ado, here's what I don't get. Cowardice. Ooh. Now, I'm talking about a very specific kind of cowardice. It's both physical and moral cowardice. So, in current events, this was Easter weekend that we just got out of. What happened over the weekend in Berkeley?
And we don't even have Berkeley Brendan here to discuss this, but Larry, you're over in California. What happened? What happened in Berkeley? It was a little further away from you, but
it was.
How was it presented to your neck of the woods?
Well, I just saw, the way it was presented in my neck of the woods was the same as it would be to anybody's, because I rarely flick on the television and watch local news anymore. So I think I saw
Wise
a clip
man.
on, I think I saw a clip on CNN online, or one of the online things, maybe Fox, I don't know. And it was very brief. It was kind of a helicopter shot of so essentially a fucking riot. And what I seem to always glean from these things is the what do they call themselves? Antifa or antifa? How do they pronounce
Antifa,
that?
anti-fascists.
Antifa.
Antifa.
The antifasols. Why the fuck do they always have masks on their faces? Because gee whiz, they all look like bandits. So what are they fucking hiding? So clearly they go into that looking for trouble, and they don't want to be identified in news tapes, right? Is that it, or am I missing something?
Oh, you're very true, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm having to again punch right. I'm having to punch right. Listen, no. Listen. By doing this, I am being a non-coward because I have a moral obligation to talk about this.
Okay.
For the good of everyone.
All right.
Because listen, the discussion over social media, the interwebs, the World Wide Webernets has been ablaze. Videos of porn stars getting punched in the face. Smoke bombs going in the other direction.
Yeah.
Pepsi projectiles.
Literally, yes.
And then the discussion up to this point has been, when will the right push back against Antifa? And then it finally happens. The guys on the good guys come back, and they're ready for the fight this time, and they bring it, and they win the Battle of Berkeley. Trump won, Antifa 0. It's over for that battle. Even Antifa are walking away with their tails between their legs. We lost this one. Dude. They're having emergency meetings in the boardroom. What the hell happened? How did we lose?
They sent them back to high school, man. There was literal wedgies being dished out. I saw photos of guys getting
So wait a
wedgies.
minute.
It was the best.
So I guess I missed something.
So-
So Buck, you're telling me these guys, the Antifa guys, actually have some spokeshole who conceded defeat in the Berkeley dust-up? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I've heard. I can't verify that on my own, but I've heard that. I've heard it through a little birdie told me.
Okay.
A little blue birdie called Twitter. So, the discussion. Outrage. Embroiled. Huge, bigly discussion. Until some little fucking twat in a Facebook group that I know, he's probably listened to this. Hey, you little twat. Says, the right is just as much as guilty as the left for responding to violence with violence. They've stooped to the level of the left.
Fuck off.
Yeah. And I immediately, my coward detector went off. Like that like a bully has a coward has a prey detector that goes off. Like, that dude's a mark. Let's go. Let's get him.
Sure.
That's an elastic band sticking out of the sticking out of their waistband there. Go wedgie that guy.
That was a prick of blood in the water in a shark tank. Said, that dude's a pussy.
Yeah.
That dude's a pussy. No. Listen, you little bastard. You little cuck. You cuck. Listen. The right didn't start that fight, but they finished it. Mm-hmm. That's how you stand up to bullies.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
course.
Antifa are actual fucking bullies, and that's what you do. You stand
course.
up to them. No, you went down to their level. You need to... Violence is never the answer. Violence never solves anything. And that's the heart of the issue. That's the heart. Violence never solves anything. Go ahead.
No, it did in this one. I mean, it's not over. But boy, oh
No.
boy, they're going to think twice. And maybe they should stop sending their women onto the front lines, maybe. Or maybe they will throw more women up into the front lines because it gets them
Keep
sympathy
sending your
points.
porn stars out.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, I
you
saw
see-
that video, and I mean, my first reaction was like, oh, shit, this is not going to be a good PR Like, this is not good PR. But at the same time, it's like it gets people talking. And I mean, I don't know if you saw, but I got in a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter with a host of the show that shan't be named. At this point now, it's comedy. I don't even want to talk about it. But like he was saying, what like in this regard, in this particular instance, both were equally as wrong. And I was like, no, dude. If the Antifa people didn't show, if they didn't start this whole fucking thing, we wouldn't be here. We would not be at this stage. It would just look like a Tea Party rally in circa 2009. And that's about it. And instead, no, we are at violence because, I don't know, you assholes were the ones bashing people over the heads with your flagpoles. And you assholes were the ones pepper spraying women who were in the midst of being interviewed by the news while wearing a Make Bitcoin Great Again hat. And this is the level that you brought it to. We would not be here at all. I actually did talk to Berkeley Brendan this morning about that. And
what did he have to say?
Well, he wasn't really in the thick of it, but he did get to meet Based Stickman in person.
Yes.
And
who got arrested, by the way.
Yeah, but he wanted to meet Lauren Southern. He did say
too.
There was a little bit of fake news getting out there on the right, basically saying that the cops did do something this time. They did do their job in a little bit better regard. So, I mean, I did see those Luke Rudkowski videos and a couple of those other ones where they were showing cops not doing anything, kind of being shown to stand down. But there was some
you have
action
to call
there.
out fake news where it is, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, Larry, you're from an older school than us.
Allegedly.
From a more solid, well, listen, we won't go there, but a more morally convicted school than we are in this day and age, right? So when you were a young guy and there was a bully, like say you were in school and there was a bully, what did you do to fix a bully?
Knock him on his ass. It's the only solution.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
There's a phrase I've heard once that when there's a junkyard dog snapping at your heels, the best way to deal with it is to turn around and kick it in the chops.
Sure.
Yep. And so in this case, and I understand that there are people are going to say, Antifa are not bullies. This is you're creating political. No. This
Not
is
our
actual
audience,
violence.
Not our audience, I
No.
hope.
It better not. I will use spankings on you. So anyway, that sounded so fucking stupid. I should have thought that one out before I said it. So anyway, these are real violent people.
Yes.
Nigh upon, I dare say the word, terrorists. Domestic terrorists.
Yep.
Using violence to advance a political goal.
And to shut down free speech.
Yeah, to shut down. Please remind me to come back to that if I don't, because this is vital. This is really, really vital. In this case, so someone's going to say, if you don't want to get beat up by Antifa, don't go. Don't go to whatever event they're protesting against. But that's capitulation.
Of course it is.
If Antifa shows up, walk away. Capitulation. And if you capitulate to people like this, if someone is using violence to get something out of you and you capitulate, you encourage more violence. So the way to break, and then you capitulate again, more violence, you capitulate again, more. So the way to break this cycle is to come to the bully, get the bully to have a base level understanding, a lizard brain understanding that violence is not the solution for me here. If I bring violence to this person, violence is going to be returned, and I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me, and my porn star is going to get punched in the face.
No, I gotta back you guys. I have to back you up for a second. I've heard the punch a Nazi thing, and of course the Berkeley whatever. What I totally missed the punch a porn star. What's that angle? Tighten me up with that.
There's this chick who got on Twitter and she was like, "I'm going to go after 100 Nazi scalps," and she went to this protest, and so she got in the middle of a melee, and some dude.
Oh, I saw that video. Wait a minute. I saw that video. The guy threw a left jab right in the chops, right in the mouth, and knocked her flat. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, knocked her back against the bricks, and she was back there crying the rest of the fight. So,
right.
And it turns out she's done amateur porn.
Okay.
And
right.
I have not looked it up myself. I'm a no-fap kind of guy, but I've heard, do not go looking up her porn. So anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So these guys are real bullies. They're using real violence to intimidate people out of their freedom of speech. And if you capitulate, you are. Here's the moral thing. If you capitulate, you are surrendering your free speech.
Correct.
And you're not just surrendering your free speech. You're surrendering the free speech of everybody else down the line that these people go to intimidate.
Right.
So at this point, it's cowardice to just let that happen. That's cowardice. That's moral and physical cowardice. And so, go ahead, Chaco.
No. I didn't want to interrupt a point.
But that's the thing. It's at some point, and I understand trying to be a non-violent person. I don't agree in going and picking a fight. You know, I think but I'm from the South, and I'm from the old school of the South. Don't start a fight, but if one comes to you, you finish it, right? And I understand that you and I, Joel Chaco, occasionally have different ideas about how that should look, and I'm okay with that. That's like that video, that guy that someone slapped his mom, so he clocked him one and knocked him out. So anyway, but in this case, this is more than just a one-time hit. This is a repeated thing. It's going to happen over and over and over again. You know what happened when was it Neville Chamberlain tried to avoid violence? Guess what happened? Hitler. Actual Nazis.
Well, okay, so this is I'm right there with you. Totally right there with you. I'm gonna devil's advocate a bit. Just a tiny bit. Bring it. This is me jumping off the train, nothing like that. Blah, 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 blah. Now, on the last few times that these violent incidents happened, generally they were like at Milo rallies or Trump rallies, or they were not like designed to antagonize. They were literally there to, go and hear somebody speak. Like we had Blonde on the show, and she tried to go see Milo. She had her phone knocked out. She was assaulted. I mean, and the cops were right there, not letting anything happen. Nobody, and it's funny because, like, if you're a conservative woman who gets assaulted, nobody gives a shit. But if you're
by the way, that was a great that was a great episode. I really enjoyed that, and she was a terrific guest.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry to I have to say that.
I had a lot of fun with that episode.
That was really good. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
But
please.
No, not a problem. No, you can interrupt the compliment anytime. But the problem here is that they so one was a Milo speech. And I mean, like, how many videos did you see of Trump supporters getting attacked by protesters during the ramp up to the election? It was so much, and that to me drove me insane to watch. It was like I cannot believe we are literally living in an age where one side can't even have a fucking political rally without having assaults happen, and the cops do nothing. However, this was not one of those cases.
State your argument.
This was a rally designed to antagonize. Now, it was pushing back, but it was definitely designed to antagonize the other side. It was a march on Berkeley, to reclaim Berkeley, to take back Berkeley, right? And I mean, of all the places, Berkeley, right? Like liberal hellhole, shithole. Never, ever was ever a conservative thought ever took place in that fucking place, with the exception of Milo trying to talk there. So it, in and of itself, it wasn't exactly like hey, we were just trying to have a talk and then these assholes came, but we defended ourselves. It was like, nah, we came with the bats, we came with the helmets, we came ready for war, and I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with that because you know what? It fucking needed to happen. There was some steam that needed to be blown off. However, we were not completely innocent in this particular incident. Although there were anti-Trump rallies on the same weekend that also had the same sort of violence in other parts of the country, which got less coverage because no women got punched in the face on camera. But, the veterans were punched and hit by Antifa. Like both sides were assholes. However, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Antifa. I'm completely, and they deserved a good fucking wedgie. And they deserved a good fucking smack in the face. Yeah. I hope we don't have to keep going down this route. And Cernovich brought it up himself. Like when Cernovich was on this show, he was like, I don't want to have the violence going the other way because it's just going to devolve. And the other thing that I have a concern about is these guys are operating on a completely different playbook than we are. Guys and gals. They're operating on Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. Okay? And the one concern I have is, and it's not, I don't care about the fucking pacifism or violence of it all. Where my concern comes in is, are we getting sucked into a trap? Are we getting sucked into something that we cannot fight our way out of? Because, you know, when you get sucked into the sort of these things, all of a sudden new laws come in, new crackdowns come in. I mean, like, the pushback always comes back to us. And it's like, I'm watching the NHL hockey playoffs right now, right? And there's this long-running theme. I'll get a point. There will be a point on this. I know you hate sports references, but there's a
I don't really care.
There's a long-running theme of all Canadian hockey fans that the NHL and the referees always have it out for the Canadian teams, and they always fuck us over. And you know what, man? Like, there's some statistical evidence there. I mean, the Calgary Flames, my favorite team, like, they've been getting fucking hammered on penalties just left and right all through the playoffs, all through the regular season. And we're up against the Anaheim team, where they definitely wanted to have that market getting more television dollars, more shows going on, and they want that team to succeed, not us. And so when it comes to the Saul Alinsky rules for radicals, when it comes to fighting fire with fire, generally speaking, all of the past discretions or transgressions made by the Antifa people, all of the veterans that got punched in wheelchairs, all of the women that got eggs thrown at them, the short-term memory of the left is minuscule. It's just so tiny that none of that matters to them. It's all gone. All they're going to see is a looping GIF of lady porn star getting punched in the face. And in the end, who's going to get the social capital? Who's going to win out of this? And I don't have an answer for that. And I'm not disagreeing. I don't think that fighting back is the wrong thing to do. But what I am saying is there is that slight possibility that, in the words of Admiral Akbar, it's a trap!
Well, here's my response to that. And we can discuss this.
Sure.
It's kind of a catch-22. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I'm totally
Either
with you.
You respond and deal with the consequences of responding, or you don't respond and deal with the consequences of not responding.
Absolutely. And so,
and there's merits and there's pros and cons to either situation. And in this case, right now, like I get, you know, you go the way that march was laid out, yeah, it probably was looking for a fight. But at the same time, sometimes you have to set up the battlefield on your terms.
Fair.
Against the aggressor.
But Cernovich had a better point, and I mean, he brought it up in episode 11 of this show.
Sure.
You're better off, this is for the people maybe watching video, you're better off doing this and recording bad behavior, because that's how we won the election. I truly believe that the shitty behavior of protesters, the shitty behavior of people at Trump rallies being assaulted on their way out helped swing the election. And maybe,
I have no doubt of that. Maybe
if we just went and started documenting them more and just drowning the internet in just bad behavior of Antifa, that maybe, just maybe, we could drown them out with just by shining a bright fucking light on their behavior. But I don't want to, I'm not going all turn the other cheek. I'm totally with you, but I mean, it's like, we can't do this every time, because we're going to just totally devolve into civil war.
Well, I agree. I think that taking the step to fight back has to be a calculated move.
Yep.
It has to be a calculated move. I think in this case, it probably was, considering that the rally seems to have been set up for that. That's fine. And we demonstrated. Because there has to be a message. Everything is messaging. Every fucking thing is messaging, right? So Antifa got their fucking asses beat this time. They got the shit kicked out of them. And they were listen, and it was an unfair fight because they were throwing rocks and bricks and M80s.
Yeah, for the record, I don't know if you heard this, Larry, but I mean, there's been several reports of this where the Antifa weapons were not confiscated by the police, but the pushback, the freedom fighters,
right,
their weapons were taken away by the police.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
again,
yeah,
it's a trap.
Well, I mean, there's been multiple suppositions that the cops up there in the Bay Area or in Berkeley are certainly their sympathies are not with the Trump supporters, and ergo they just kind of stood down and turned a blind eye to the shit that was going on, and that's fucking scary. Okay, it's their sworn duty to protect the populace, not the segment of the populace they like. And that's
serve and protect, and everybody's paying taxes for these people. They're supposed to have. That's the service that they paid for.
Exactly. And I saw the same thing happen in Los Angeles. It must have been a couple months ago. I forget the exact.
Oh, the 90s? Oh no.
Huh? No, this was.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
This was at Los Angeles Airport, and I forget what is actually about. But basically, the LAPD, abrogated their responsibility to maintain order and keep that fucking airport open. And they said to these guys, okay, we'll let you can close down the entrance to the nation's second largest airport for an hour. But then, once you're finished, then you got to, basically they gave them a green light to fuck things up in shifts. And I got to tell you, that was pretty fucking horrible to see, because that's just plain wrong. And that's playing favorites. And how dare they?
Well, that's the thing. Is like you got these people fucking blocking the roads for Black Lives Matter or for other protests along the way, or the minimum 15 people, and it's always the left that gets to break the rules for civil disobedience. Name one right-wing civil disobedience rally or something that fucked with shit that has gotten away with it in the last little bit. Go ahead.
Well, that's the other thing that I was going to bring up is, the reason this message has to be sent by us is because we're the only ones going to stand up for us in this situation. Those cops, there's rumors about stand-down orders. There's rumors they were arresting both Antifa and Trump supporters. That's fine. But at the end of the day, there's no one more responsible for your own safety than you.
Of course.
So
you got to take no shit, man. Take no shit.
So, any other discussion before I go to my last point?
No, go for it, Ben. You got
okay, so here's my last point.
Yeah, go for it.
Because there's this argument that violence never solves anything. Well, what do you do if someone is bringing violence to you? Well, you should call the police. Well, for one, the police might not come to you. So there's that. But also, if you're so against violence, what's going to happen if you call the police against a violent person? What's that policeman going to do? Do we have any law enforcement experts on the stream today? What's going to happen? That policeman's going to show up, and he's going to do what? To stop that other person from harassing you, from physically assaulting you, he is going to threaten that person with violence.
Yep.
He is going to, either wrestle that person to the ground, beat that person to the ground, tase that person to the ground, or, if they have to, he's going to shoot that person to the ground. When you involve the state to do your fighting for you, you're not parlaying away violence. You're simply having someone else do your violence for you. And in some cases, yeah, sure. If you're not the one who can do that fight yourself, if you're a small person and you need someone bigger to fight on your behalf, I'm totally for that. If 3 or 4 guys break into my house and I am unarmed and unable to defend myself, I would love to have the SWAT team swoop in and stop the bad guys.
Of course.
That's exactly what they're for. But this notion of violence doesn't solve anything is absolutely fucked. And this is why. You are never, ever, ever in the history, in any stretch of the beginning and end of human history, are you going to stop or end all violence. It's just not gonna fucking happen. As long as there is a human being on the face of the earth that wants a resource that somebody else has, there is going to be violence in the hearts of men. This whole shit about we're going to build the city on the hill and no one's going to be violent anymore is absolute fucking pipe dream horse shit. It's never going to, this is the one problem I have with people who are the peacenik people. Like, oh, but one of these days we'll reach that level of society where no one will ever be hurt again. Yeah, it's called heaven. If you want to go there, believe in Jesus, motherfucker. Until then, you've got to learn to accept the fact that for most of us to be safe, some of us are going to have to be violent against the aggressors. There's always going to be aggressors. There's never not going to... Look at nature. Look at nature. There are no animals in nature that never aggress against each other for something, for mating, for food, for position in the tribe. Every species on this planet is violent against somebody else. It's never going to stop happening. So to say, oh, violence never solves anything is a fucking moral catastrophe going on in your mind. You're an idiot and you're a coward. I'm really worked up about this. I mean, it's a fallacy. It's just a fucking fallacy. Get it through your skull. I get that violence for no reason is wrong, but sometimes you have to nut up and accept the fact that there's bad people out there, and sometimes the bad guy's not going to stop coming until you punch him right in his fucking mouth and say, motherfucker, I'm not taking your shit anymore.
Yeah! That was my Buck's war scream, by the way. That was in tribute to you.
People have started commenting about my enthusiastic yeahs. When people are talking and I've had a little bit too much sauce, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. So
that was an awesome one, man. No, I just I hear you, man. I just had to kind of bring up a couple of extra caveats to that, but I'm right with you, man.
That's fine. That's what discussion is. That's what we ought to be doing.
Yep.
We ought to be discussing things like human fucking beings. But some people can't get the fucking memo that this is Western society where we battle each other with ideas, not with M80s and bricks. Because when you cross that line, you can't put that genie back in the bottle.
It's done. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Pandora's box, man.
What did they fucking expect? You're going to harass people long enough. Eventually, some good old boy from the South is going to say, I'm tired of your shit, and I'm going to put a stop to it. Now everybody's having a fucking heart attack on the left. How did we lose this? Oh my, what happened? Because the guys who understand that sometimes you have to fight woke up. You've awakened the sleeping giant is what's happened. Mm-hmm. Japan figured that one out. So anyway, that's my thing for today. That's enough out of Uncle Buck.
Well, man, this is Larry. Did we meet your testosterone requirements to get into to get another month of tuition into the Take No Shit Dojo?
Meet it. I'm drowning in it. Somebody throw me a fucking life preserver.
Larry's just sprouting more body hair.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
You guys.
Well, I put you over before. I'm going to do it again. I actually really want to recommend to people, if you want to hear a good rage topic, go listen to one of Larry's most recent episodes. By the time that this episode goes out, your newest one will have already been out. But I mean, the emergency one from last week.
Episode 19.
Yeah, about United Airlines, Dr. Dow. It's a work of art. I really recommend it to anybody who wants to look at that issue as what it is. It was a goddamn atrocity, and you did a really good job of covering the anger that a lot of us felt about that one.
Oski needs to meet Tony Spumante.
No kidding, man. No kidding. Fucking Oski.
Tony baby.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, there, man. I know you got some people to take care of this week, and we don't want to keep you away too long. But it's been a pleasure having you back on the air.
Oh, listen,
back on here with us, man. You're a blast.
The pleasure's all mine. You guys are just an absolute hoot. I always enjoy listening to your show, and being a part of it is really a kick and an honor, because you two are a rare avis, not only in this world, but certainly in podcast land, because you're straight up, stand up, honest guys. And that's not easy to come by. And I really applaud you for that. So
thank you, Larry.
Thank you so much, Larry.
Coming from you, man, it's a real honor, a real pleasure. So, but this has been Here's What I Don't Get. Thanks again to Larry Bleidner for joining the show. I'm Joel Chaco.
I'm Uncle Buck.
Ciao, ciao, motherfuckers.
Bye-bye.